From monsters from the Great Abyss to monsters that can only be killed after completing a great quest. This is Runescape's top 10 Slayer creatures. Number 10. The Aberrant Spectre. Now these things can be found in the Slayer Tower and the Apollo Avenged Slayer Dungeon. Now they require level 60 Slayer to kill, and the reason you would want to kill these is because they frequently drop large amounts of herbs and seeds. Now these can medium to high herbs such as ranards and lantidimes, and they also drop low to high price seeds. Now to kill these you will need to wear a nose peg, a Slayer helmet or a full Slayer helmet to protect yourself from the stench of the creature, as they apparently do stink. They are weak to throw weapons, but you can also use a slave amulet to do double damage to them as well. There we go. Personally, these are pretty good creatures to kill, even if you are not on a Slayer task, because they do get you a pretty decent amount of money. Number 9. The Skeletal Wyvern. Now these can only be found in the Asgarian Ice Dungeon south of Port Sarim. Now to kill these you will need 72 Slayer, and there are a few requirements in order to be able to kill these as well. Well, one really. You will have to have either an elemental, mind, body, cosmic, chaos or dragonfire shield in order to protect yourself from the breath of these, as it is ice based. An anti-dragon shield will not work, along with a super anti-fires do not work as well. So if you take just super anti-fires or an anti-dragon shield, you're going to get wrecked. But you can avoid these attacks by standing up more than 4 squares away from the Skeletal Wyvern, so it does bring in the option of being able to use, say, two-handed magic or range without having the need for a shield. Now the reason you would want to kill these is because they exclusively drop granite legs. They also have a chance of dropping the draconic visage, and also the bones I believe are worth about 4k each, so that's pretty good money. And I would advise killing these off task as well, because they do bring in a decent amount of money. Number 8. The Mutated Jadinkos. Now these require anywhere from level 80 to 91 Slayer to kill, the highest being the level 91 one, which is required to kill the most profitable or the best Slayer monster for these, which is the Mutated Jadinko males. Now to kill these, like I've just said, you will need 91 Slayer in order to kill them, and there is no particular items which you need in order to kill them. Now personally the reason these are good is like all Jadinkos, they do drop quite a bit of blue charms, noted logs, medium to high level herbs quite frequently, and they are possibly one of the fastest things to kill for blue charms. Now these things can be a bit dangerous if you don't know how to kill them, but personally they're not hard if you know what you're doing. Also, I would recommend that you have a decent fletching level before coming here, as they do drop a thing called ecrascents and vines, which can become crafted into a bolas at a high fletching level. So if you don't have a high fletching level of 87 or higher, you will need, I wouldn't really recommend coming here, as you can't really make the thing that gets you most of your money. Even though they're not worth a lot now, they do drop a heck of a lot of it, so you will still make a decent amount of money from these. Number 7. Automatons. Now these are found in the dungeon after the World Wakes quest has been completed. These require level 67 Slayer to kill, and are the first post Grandmaster quest monsters that can be assigned as a Slayer monster. Quick fact for you. These things do require a hell of a lot of quests in order to be able to do quests like the Ritual of the Majorat, Firemaker's Curse, Branches of Darkmire, Voice Dead Back and the Chosen Commander, required to access where you can kill them. So they are pretty high requirements, but they are quite worth it. They are most known for dropping the 3 high level gloves, the static gloves, pneumatic gloves and the tracking gloves, which are currently the strongest gloves in the game. So personally these things are really good to kill, also for killing off tasks, because they also drop a lot of other high value items. So these things are just great all around, but they can be quite dangerous as they do this stomp attack, which hits you with quite a considerable amount of damage when you're standing within melee range. So personally I would recommend ranging or maging these creatures. Number 6. The Desert Strike Worms. Now these are located east of El Kharid, and these will require level 77 Slayer in order to kill. Now these things cannot be killed off Slayer task, and in order to kill them you will need to walk up to them and stomp on the ground, where you can see a little bump, and then they will pop at the ground and start to try and shank you. Now the reason that you might want to kill these is because they do drop a hell of a lot of valuable noted items, so you can stay there for a long period of time, and they will occasionally drop the focus sight, which has recently gone way up in price. They do use magic and melee attacks, the magic being the most damaging. So, and also they can bury it underground. They lean forward at you and then go down the ground and then proceed to go underneath you. And if you do not move away, they will come up dealing anywhere between 5 to 2,000 damage. And if they do it more than once, they can deal up to 4,000 damage in total. So these can be a bit lethal if you're not paying attention, but are great monsters to kill for money. Number 5, the Aurid. Now these can either be found in the Piscatorius Hunter area or in the Corral's dungeon. Now these things do require 92 Slayer to kill, which is a pretty high requirement. Reason you may want to kill these is they do have a new unique drop called Razorback Gauntlets, which are pretty decent. And you also drop Tusker mass pieces, which can be exchanged for additional Slayer experience. Now they do use either magic in ranged or melee, magic and melee or melee and ranged, depending on which stance they're in. If they're standing up, they will use melee, most likely just melee, and then when they're lying down, they will either use range or mage or melee again. Now these things can be a bit dangerous to kill if you don't know what you're doing, as when you use one of their special attacks, you will either thump it on its chest or lift its head up, depending on which stance it is in. Now these can either continually punch you, which is alright if you are meleeing and they are in melee stance, but if you're meleeing and they do the magical one, it will deal a heck of a lot of damage. It can deal up to 1,500 per hit if it gets lucky on you, which can be pretty deadly. Now these things also do drop their own bones called Aurid bones, which are ridiculously big on the ground if you have seen them. And these are 8.3k each to kill. They do drop a lot of noted stuff. And it does great things to kill around, great for money, and great experience. Number 4, the Ice Strike Worm. Now these can only be found after the completion of the Tale of the Musfar quest in the same dungeon which you have done the quest in. Now these will require 93 Slayer points to kill and do require quite a high level item in order to kill them. You will need to be wearing a fire cape while fighting these creatures, unless you spend 2,000 Slayer points on buying a reward that you don't have to use a fire cape to kill them. Now the good thing about these is if you're using a fire cape and a fire spell, you'll basically rock the world, because you can deal up to 15,000 damage per hit with some of your special attacks, which is kind of OP. Now the reason you might want to kill these is that they have a unique drop of the Staff of Light, and also they do drop a lot of things like runes and talismans, herbs, seeds, just so much stuff. They are pretty decent money, but can be bad money if you get unlucky. So just great monsters all around. And the same as the other strike worms, will bury underground, use ranged, melee and magic, and can deal high damage if not concentrated, but still great to kill. Number 3, Revolutionise. Now these require level 81 Slayer in order to kill, and are found in the Monastery of Ascension. Now these things can be found in Feldip Hills, just northeast of mobilizing armies. Now the reason you want to kill these is they are the lowest leveled Ascension monster, but they still drop the keys, which makes them the easiest monster to obtain the keys from. They also do drop the Ascension grips like all the other ones do. Now the reason that these are killed is obviously, like I just said, they are the weakest monster and they do drop the keys quite frequently, and if you manage to find a free world, you can make millions an hour. I mean, it is ridiculous the amount of money you can make from these. So these are incredibly good monsters to kill if you want to make some money, and if you're on Ascension Slayer task, I would highly recommend killing these. Number 2, Abyssal Demons. Now these can be found in the top floor of the Slayer Tower, and can also be found in Corral's dungeon. Now these things do require level 85 Slayer to kill, and the reason you might want to kill these is because they have the ability of dropping either an Abyssal Wand, an Abyssal Whip, or an Abyssal Orb. Now these things there aren't overly powerful. You can probably kill them quite quick and easy if you are probably decent combat. They do teleport around and will teleport the player around basically it will interrupt all abilities, so do be careful with that. So these monsters are incredibly easy to kill. They do drop Infernal Ashes every kill, which are worth 2.5k each. Say they do drop the Abyssal Weapons, which are great and quite valuable at this point in time. And just great monsters to kill all around. And if you want to make a bit of money, this is definitely the monsters to kill. And number 1, Ganodermic Beasts. Now these are found in the bottom of the Polypore dungeon and require level 95 in order to kill. Players, however, cannot receive these as a Slayer task unless they are level 60 magic or over. This is the only monster other than the Ganodermic Runts to drop the Ganodermic Gloves and Boots. Even though they aren't overly worth a lot, it's still a decent drop. Additionally, these are the only beasts that can drop a Polypore Stick, which then can be used to make a Polypore Staff. They also have a higher rate than normal of dropping items from the red drop table due to their high Slayer level and their combat level. Also, reasons you might want to kill these: they drop a lot of high level seeds and herbs. They do drop. They don't drop clue scrolls, which I think is a bit of a bummer. They are always been known for being one of the most valuable monsters to kill in RuneScape, and they're just fantastic monsters to kill. That is it for this countdown. Now I'm taking a break from this countdown series, but don't worry, it will return one day. So if you enjoyed, don't forget to punch the like button, leave a comment down below, and also subscribe. Also, most for me on my Twitter feed, which is going to a link down below as always. So last thing to say, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this set of RuneScape top 10s, and they will be back very soon. I've been Next Dark RX, and I will see you later, everybody.